It's like we're now about to witness a generation of women with no kids that are insane. Okay, so for most of human existence, women had kids, so that's where they put their maternal instincts. That's why I'm very, very, very pro-family, because it's really good for the mind of a woman, right? When they have a kid, they're all that anxiety, all that neuroses, all those instincts that makes us think like, oh, she's crazy. Those are designed by the furnace of evolution and death for a reason, because that's what keeps kids alive. All of women's craziness has a point. And so when you have all these women now, so these women don't have kids. So what do? They baby the world, right? You see it with Angela Merkel. You see it with Chelsea Handler, Sarah Silverman, Amy Schumer, all these women that like don't have kids. So what do they say? They want Hillary Clinton, she'll take care of you. He's Muslim, okay? That's what they do. They gang rape. Like, these are adult conversations for people with sane minds, not for these women that never had a kid. And their instincts are driving them to protect something, to nurture something, to baby something. And when they can't, they do it to the entire population. And then what happens? Death. Like, the stakes couldn't be higher. Like, when people like the 1% or like this group or that group or the deplorables or the... What do you think's next, guys? You think that they just send cupcakes? They kill those guys. It's happened over and over and over again in human history. Not only am I not paranoid, it's inevitable if you let that happen. And the only way to stop it is just simply say the opposite. Say what's real. It's because of this. It's because, okay, they want to double the taxes, right? So they want to get women to work. That's why Barack Obama, this savior of mankind, spread vicious propaganda lies. The wage gap is mathematically not true, and everybody knows it. Why do they do that? Because they want women to think that being a woman is defined by work. And what happens when you go to work? You don't have kids, and if you do, you don't raise them, and you definitely have fewer kids. So what happens then? Then women now pay taxes. So now you've increased your tax base. Now you don't have a family structure, right? And when you have a family structure, you can rely on each other. So you don't need these giant social nets that don't give a shit about you. And it's just an embezzlement scheme. All right. So what happens then? It's just like, oh God. And they don't even see it. So then all these women don't have kids, right? So they work off because they think that's empowerment. And then of course, the other thing that's empowerment is Planned Parenthood, which is ripping life out of their womb once they create the life, okay? So they have 2 or 3 abortions in their 20s, early 30s, because they're trying to, make as much money as possible, because that's what womanhood is defined by authoritarian giant government people, right? So because they just want to take more money and have more control, because that's what Bernie Sanders, liar, is. Okay, so then what happens? Then women realize that they should have had kids, and they have this emptiness that follows them everywhere they go. And that no matter what they do, it doesn't fill it. Like, I know Chelsea Handler. I've done her show 5 times. Like, I'm not just this random spectator. I watch someone be cool and fun and slowly become a psychopath. Chelsea Handler at 30 was really cool. Chelsea Handler at 40-something is a nut job. And you see this over and over. Amy Schumer used to be really cool. I shot a Butterfinger commercial with her. She's let me stay at her apartment. I've done her TV show. The chick was a rock star. And then you watch them age. And then you watch them think that they have to baby everyone. And that everything is about safety. And everything is about not saying the wrong word and not hurting feelings. You know what that's good for? Babies! You idiots! Like, that quality is good in a woman when you're dealing with a 1-year-old in an electric socket. But they didn't have babies. Sarah Silverman didn't have, none of these people had babies. So they baby everybody else. And you know what that leads to? Genocide. And no one cares. It's the same thing that happens with men. You take a warrior, right? You take a warrior man, a man genetically designed to protect, and you give him no mission, that's death to society. death. You take a bunch of knights, you take a bunch of warriors, you take a bunch of men in the prime of their life, ready for battle, for work, for protection, for love, for earning, and you give them nothing. You know what you get? ISIS. You think that they're that much different than us? You know, I make fun of Muslims all the time, but on a genetic, biological, deep, emotional, human level, that's us. Just born into a world. Like, we could be ISIS. You want to know what happens? You want to know how that happens? You give a bunch of men no purpose. No purpose. You give a bunch of women potato sacks. You know, you cut off these human beings from humanity, and then what happens? Then they're susceptible to some crazy person whispering in their ear, I'll give you purpose. You're a man to Allah. If you die, everyone will know you're a man. You'll die for a reason. Those suicide bombers, man, you don't think I have empathy for them? That a lot of those guys just wanted a wife that loves them and that someone that they love. They want a mission. They want to build a garden. They want to kill a snake who's trying to kill the baby. But instead they don't have that. So what do? They listen to nonsense and they blow themselves into bits. That instinct is good. It's just weaponized by psychopaths. It's happening to American women right now. These women never got to have kids. And some of them are like, oh, I'm too old. I can't even freeze my eggs because I'm not rich enough. I didn't make enough money. But you're ISIS. You're now crazy. And do all women need kids? No. Oh, and then they say to grown men like me, they say stuff like, oh, you're acting out. You've been acting out a lot lately. I mean, you just attack people. But I'm like, do you think I'm a 1-year-old? Do you know who talks that way? Moms. I'm a 37-year-old man with 100,000 Twitter followers, a house I own, a car I own, a wife who loves me, a baby, another kid on the way. I'm a legend. You don't talk to me like I'm one. Go get your own baby. Because if you treat society that way, no one grows, no one learns, right? You make everybody infant. You think you can understand Socrates? You think you can understand the market economy? No, you become this blob. And you see it everywhere. You see these blobs, and now we have a generation of kids raised without a mother because the mom's on Twitter talking about how Donald Trump is the snake in the Garden of Eden, right? Get God, get a baby, and shut your mouth.